Well, I filled out all our names.
So what do you think we...
I went back and read our teacher's instructions. She specifically said you do not want to poll people, because I was like, why don't we just, ask who likes, what's your favorite, what's your favorite soda or something benign like that. But apparently that's not acceptable.
Yeah, I think it might just be a personal rule of hers, because most of the paperwork in that document has to do with getting permission for that. So I think she just wants to avoid it.
She just.
Yeah, I think I remember reading that as well.
Yeah.
You can't interview anybody.
Polling people because we have to receive special permission from the university in order to involve asking people questions in our studies, and we don't have enough time for that.
Yeah. So what's a group of people that all of us can observe? Maybe something to do with church, since we're all LDS.
There was something about.
So we can't ask people questions, but
no,
a certain group of people.
Well, what? I think we want to do something a little more benign than at church. Maybe like, because we all go to gas stations, we all go to grocery stores, we all, what's some, maybe go to a gas station and observe how many people get regular gasoline versus premium gasoline, or.
Yeah, I actually thought of that as well. I was trying to think of how I would actually observe. I hate doing observations at work, like watch people. It look like I'm not watching them, so that just doesn't sound like much fun to me.
It's not necessarily going to be fun, but we had, it has to be something observable in all, either 3 or 4 of our states.
Well, I did actually think of that same example. So how could we observe people? We'd probably have to get permission from the gas station. Maybe we could just sit in a car with a pair of binoculars or something. Go spy style. I think unless you're just standing there at the pump, it's going to be hard to see which one they pick.
We could just walk by and ask, hey, I'm in a statistics class for college, and we're doing a study on how many people use regular versus, premium gasoline. No, please don't tell me your name.
Would be an interview question.
Yeah, now we're not allowed to. We're probably not even allowed to talk to them.
Yeah.
I wonder if actually, how hard would it be to like just call a gas station and say, do you have
records?
Yeah. And are we allowed to know how many people use premium gasoline versus how many people use regular gasoline?
Yeah, what if we I'm sure the gas company has statistics like that. Well, then we would just be
taking
things. So it wouldn't really be our statistic. But I'm sure they have paperwork like that.
Yeah.
I just don't know how available it would be. But a study like that would be useful. Well, if we did that kind of study, it would be a ANOVA, because we'd have several sample means. There'd be 4 of us, and then we'd be.
And if we all did different gas stations, like so A&P versus Costco
Shell.
versus, yeah, exactly.
Or what if we all went to a particular gas station in just different areas of the country?
Okay, picked the same.
Maybe Shell,
Yeah,
because Shell is everywhere.
I don't know that we have Shell around here, but I can find out.
Really?
I have not
Well,
been home.
actually,
I haven't been home to Washington State in like 15 years, and I just literally have not seen one since we got here.
huh. I don't seem to remember one either. But if you have Exxon out there, I could do Exxon. You know, it's actually a British company. So maybe that's why it's not all the way on the West Coast. It could be.
Mm.
Google Map it.
Yeah. So we could do Exxon, we could do BP. Do you have BP out where you are?
Yeah, we have BP.
Or so let me find out.
I thought of Shell first, because I have a little bit of brand loyalty.
Ah,
Yeah, I noticed my car runs better on Shell.
interesting.
Yeah, and
Okay, Exxon, it would be Exxon Mobil. Yeah, there's one kind of by us.
it's on mobile. Let me see
Yeah.
where the closest one to me is.
So in Washington, it looks like it's Mobil instead of Exxon, but the company is Exxon/Mobil. Actually, let me just Google gas stations near me
Yeah, I've got one nearby.
and see. So I've got Chevron, I've got Mobil. Do y'all have like Costco with a gas station? We'd have to find out if the other guys have, because we have several gas stations.
We just got a Costco in Columbia, so actually I don't know. I don't know if it has gas pumps or not. It looks like it does. Just to go to Costco. Premium is only $2.16 a gallon. That's pretty good.
Membership to Costco has its privileges.
Yeah. I've heard their pizza is amazing.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I could do Costco. Edward lives in Indiana.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
I don't know if you have a Costco or not. But see, if we go to the Costco, they might be nicer to us than some of the big
That's a good point.
They might not care whether we're, but it does. I suppose it doesn't have to be something like that. We could all pick we might have to do different grocery stores, but we could pick grocery stores and
With a gas station attached.
no, pick, stand there and watch and see how many people get 2% milk versus whole milk versus non-fat milk or whatever.
That would probably be easier to observe, actually. And a little less weird than just standing outside and honestly, it's with the humidity here in South Carolina, it feels like it's about 95. That doesn't really sound like fun to me. I'd much rather watch the
Stand in an air-conditioned grocery store.
Yeah. Would we have to get permission from the store manager, though?
Possibly.
We might, just to let them know
We're just
what we're doing.
Yeah. For a math class, we're watching people to see how many that buy 2% milk versus
% or whole.
Yeah, or 2% and 1% or so. They're usually colored differently, so you can just be like, 10 blue, 3 green, 1 yellow.
Yeah, that would work. And I imagine if anybody asks like, hey, what are you doing? We could just say, buying a sample for a statistics class. I don't think that would technically be a interview question. I mean,
No, it would be them asking us.
yeah.
Oh, there's an edit.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so I joined the meeting like 5 minutes ago, but you guys couldn't hear me, so I had to restart my computer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have the screen pulled up,
So
so I
you
couldn't
heard
tell.
part of the conversation, hopefully.
Yeah, about Costco and gas stations.
We were just
Yeah.
thinking we'd switch to let's all go to a grocery store and see how many people pick 2% milk versus whole milk, or 1% and 2% in whole. That might be easier than doing the gas station thing.
Okay.
That still
So we're
counts
just gonna,
that still counts as observing. Is there some other, if you've got a better idea for observing, let us know.
yeah. I think that's a good idea, since we are not gonna have to ask anyone anything, so we're just gonna be watching.
We just watch what color. And usually they have little Debbie cakes right next to the milk section, so we can just act like we're little Debbie cake shopping.
So we're gonna observe, like, let's say 10 people, and we're gonna find out how many people pick whole milk and how many
Okay,
like that.
so something like, do we need to have two
So
kinds
now
or
we're
3 kinds? Because the most people get 1%, 2%, and whole. So do we?
or we could get really
Huh?
we could get really fancy and say, oh, almond milk. That would be an interesting statistic.
Oh,
Buy almond
almond
milk
milk
depending on
versus regular milk.
what do you think? Or just because I think that tells you a lot about the population actually. Up in Washington it would probably be about equal. Here in South Carolina. We just
Not so much.
I don't even know what to do.
I think keeping it to just regular milk simplifies the watching, because probably not in Oklahoma now, but in Oklahoma, like the 2% is blue and the 1% is green and the whole is red. So I just have to look at the cap colors and I know what everybody's getting. So it seems the least intrusive.
So what kind of study are we gonna be doing?
Yeah, we have to figure that out.
Is that ANOVA for different states?
I think.
I think so, but then we would also have a proportion. We would be measuring the proportion of of the different types of milk. So it would be, but it would also have a proportion. So can you have a categorical? Because that would be a category. What type of milk? Categorical ANOVA. Because it sounds simple when you first talk about it, but then when you actually think of
breaking it down into the kind of soda, they're giving us
3 different options.
Are there actually 1,000 chips in every bag of Chips Ahoy? Is brand A paper towel stronger than brand B? So maybe we're making this more difficult than it needs to be. Maybe we need to think a little more science-y. Making up my own words, yes.
Get rid of the location.
Okay, just have a thought. What about if we compare who goes to do the grocery shopping the most, like in a marriage, maybe like
Oh, men versus women.
yeah. Members
Who buys groceries? Who
the most.
more at a grocery store, men or women?
Yeah, that's
Because you could literally sit outside in the car and just watch people go in and
Watch.
out. That
Yeah.
that requires no permission, no nothing. You just sit there in your car.
It's the most discreet.
And maybe you can watch for people that come out with the cart shopping, like full of groceries, not just one item, but the whole thing full.
Or they
How many people use? So we could do how many people use a basket as opposed to a cart.
Would you
basket
see that outside?
or
Do they
bag.
carry baskets when they? No. Who
No,
leaves with bags and no cart, and who leaves with bags in the cart?
work. So, but kind of back to the same question. So we would have multiple samples. There would be 4 different samples, but they would be categorical, not. So can we mix the two? Because it's kind of.
Or the other way
Or
to
should we?
categorize it, I suppose, is how many people come out of the grocery store with paper bags and how many come out with plastic bags. That makes it categorical, and then just skip the states altogether. Like we don't even have to get specific about the states. Just
I like that. There's only one grocery. Actually, well, yeah, around here you have health food stores that only use paper bags, and then there's one grocery store that'll give you the choice
out.
that I know of around here.
Okay, I need you to leave. I love you, but it's not your turn. Go. Close the door. Hey, Edward.
Hi. Sorry I'm
Can't
late.
hear him. Can't hear you.
Oh,
Oh, never mind.
no.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can.
Okay, so we're trying to come up with an observational study. And we've gone through a couple of different, the newest one is just sit outside a grocery store and see who comes out with, actually I guess it needs to be 3 choices. Like bring your own bag, so fabric bags is what I'm gonna call it, but plastic bags or paper bags.
All right.
We've been trying to come up with the least intrusive, or something a little more sciencey would be helpful if we didn't even have to watch people.
Oh, then do we actually have to do it?
Yes, we actually have to collect the data, or we're actually making it. We have to design our own study and do the whole. Yeah, you're gonna want to open the thing. There's a whole lot of rules. We're not allowed to interview people because you have to get permission from the university to do it legally, and there's not enough time to do that.
Yeah. The best way to do a paper bag one would be to just interview people. And I guess the most scientifically, not scientifically, a more random sample would be just to ask random people rather than just
Observe them from outside the grocery store.
Yeah, because then that will just
Yeah, we can't.
like. Well, I guess it would work if you use a couple different grocery stores, but
Yeah.
if you just use like.
All 4 of us in 4 different states. If you've got the examples given on the paper are there actually 1,000 chips in every bag of Chips Ahoy? Is brand A paper towel stronger than brand B? So if we can come up with something more observable. Oh, I know. We could pick a certain number of paper plate products, come up with different kinds of food to put on them, and see which one holds the food well enough that you can hold it when like it won't bend or it won't disintegrate on you or whatever.
That sounds easy, but when I think about it, it seems like it'll be more complicated when you like think of like how it's even arranged on the plate might also affect it. So that's might make things more complicated later on.
Well, just something the four of us can all observe and test.
Hey, how about we do an ANOVA? We just see how much rain. We build a rain catcher, and then we see how much rain falls in each of our areas over a certain period. That would be. That
would be awesome. I'm not sure how well that'll do since we only have one or 2 days to do it though, because that's so easy to do. But
well, how long are we doing? How long do we have to do this study?
This is a final project, so I don't think it's due for a while.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're just designing it right now.
Yeah. Yes. This is just, we have to design the study and then we have to get it approved by
okay, because I was looking at this, I was like, I think this is related to the final project, I'm not sure. So it's like, oh, okay, then we could do that. I'd say that's a really good and easy option. But I'd say that let's try to think of at least 2 more, and we'll decide from like a good pool.
Okay.
And like we'll do pros and cons. As of right now, that seems pretty easy. I mean, straightforward.
Yeah, we just put a jar outside, and at the end of our study, we just put a tape measure up to it and see how much rain we got. If we didn't get any rain, then we report 0.
We probably need to break it down into weeks. 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however long we have to do it. Per week 0. 1 week, 1 inch, 2 inches, whatever. I'm in Washington, so I'll have plenty.
Might need a different size container.
Yeah, I may have several jars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what if we?
That's definitely a good one. There are some problems with it, but rather than thinking what's wrong with it, I'd say we keep thinking of more and just decide from the top 3.
Sure.
Or at least the 3 we have. So we'll definitely. I'll just make a note. Rain catch.
So I have another idea. It's idea. It's we could watch people who get to church late. Are they more likely to stay the whole 3 meetings, or are they more likely to leave the second hour or the third hour?
I'm always late.
Yeah, me too. And you said I stayed 3 hours. But
that's also not bad. I think it'd be hard to do with all of us separate, because if there's more than one person, it might be hard to get a large sample size like that, unless we have a bunch of people helping us in our own wards.
But if we do, like, let's say I watch 3 people who came in late, and just keep track of them and see if they're leaving earlier or they're staying for the 3 weeks without telling them or anything, and you guys do 3 people each, that will be 12 people.
That would be easier.
Is there any
to get
rules
a
about
large
sample sizes?
size?
Because I'd assume we want it to be at least 30, but
Yeah.
You really don't need it to be at least. Well, actually, depending on what we're going to do with it, we might have it. It might need to be at least 30.
It's asking us things like, what statistical method are you going to use? So we're sort of leaning towards ANOVA at the moment. We have to come up with our null and alternative hypothesis.
Okay. So there are a lot of rules.
Here, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is if we pick something that involves human subjects, we have like 4 extra questions we have to answer. If we pick something that does not involve human subjects, we skip that altogether.
All right.
Because we've got like 15 questions to answer, and then we have to figure out who gets what part in. Yeah, you're gonna want to have the design the study paper open.
If we have to have 30 observations, I think we could split those 30 among us, and then just add the results of any kind of study we are doing.
All right. I guess it just depends on the study we're doing.
Yeah.
All right then. But most of the studies we will be, unless we all do something that we can all do the exact same thing, like like the paper towel one.
Yeah.
That's something that even though we're all in separate areas, bounty is going to be bounty no matter where you go. But let's say I go to my Walmart and you go to your Walmart, they're going to be different. So
Yeah.
most of the stuff we do will be ANOVA unless we find something that's uniform, as in like an actual product to test. So in that case, we can get by with only a couple of samples of each from each person, but yeah, but then we also do the product. It's just how many we buy or use. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. We just gotta keep in mind what we're looking for, but we just gotta get some more ideas first. Anything could be a study, even.
Could we do something even a little bit more benign than that, and just I guess pick 3 or 4 brands of chips and figure out if they actually have the I don't know, the right weight.
Yeah.
Like they say it's one thing in the bag, is it actually what it says it is?
I was actually thinking about that as the null will be obviously what it says on the package, and then alternative is like we think it's actually less, and
or not equal to.
Yeah, so not equal to would be easier, but yeah, then just get a scale out. It has to be a. That's actually what I was gonna say. I was like, we can all just buy some like cans of Chef Boyardee and weigh or count the contents or something.
Or
But
like bags of chips. Does 2 or 3 brands of. I guess actually it should be 3 or 4. 3 or 4 brands of chips. It says thus and such weight on the bag. Weigh the contents.
Well,
does it match up with the weight?
Well, it depends on the type of study we want. Because if you want to do just one brand, then we get a whole bunch of it. 2 brands, yeah, it just depends on the study. So if you want to, we just get 1 brand and just That's another easy one we can do. I guess the only downside is we'll all probably have to spend like maybe $8 a person to like buy a bunch of chips.
Hey, it's food.
I think that's not bad. I'll put that down because it's another type of test that because even the rain it's one that's not ANOVA, so and it seems pretty easy to do.
Well, and if each of us buys, I don't know, 6 bags, 8 bags of chips, we're done.
Okay, actual weight versus.
Do we all have a scale though that will measure ounces?
Oh,
I do at my house because we have some.
I do.
Your parents might if they cook with, because some recipes have weight versus.
Versus a volume measurement.
Yeah.
Heck, and if you don't, we can also do, the amount of seeds in an apple, so we can all just buy a bunch of apples and count the seeds, which it shouldn't be too many. And now we have a lot of apples to eat. So, if you don't, because I guess technically, depending on the skill you have, it might change the results. But we're just doing this to prove that we know how to design a study. I don't think it needs to be 100% accurate. So
the apple study, pick 4 different kinds of apples and see
which
if the
like the difference or whatever. Oh no, yeah, like that.
another
That's another one to do. Like you can get 2 types of apples and see the difference of the means, or with a couple of apples, like you said, do like an ANOVA test.
I'm in Washington. How many kinds of apples do you want?
Also,
we could do 4.
The leftover kernels and certain brands of popcorn. Like, what's better? We can, in fact, we just get one brand to say, buttered versus, low fat versus theater or something like that, and we count the leftover kernels, and all the times are exactly the same time. It's just, just what's the difference between the brands? Like, not the brands, but like the type of butter, I guess.
I think I like the apple study. So all I have to do is cut the apple open and count the seeds.
Yeah, and I guess you would, if you did the popcorn one, you would have to buy a bunch of popcorn, dump everything out, and if you love popcorn, then
eat a bunch of popcorn.
Because
at the very least, with apples, if you don't just eat them, you can just bake something with them.
Yeah,
Some lemon juice.
Yeah, and with enough apples, you can turn it into apple pie.
Yeah, and if you're too lazy to do apple pie, do an apple cobbler. It's like just as good as pie, but like a tenth of the work. Okay.
So, what would be
I'm gonna put that down as an option. Apples. Wait,
what would be the null hypothesis for the apple study?
That's the thing.
Well, that the seed count is equal.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It depends on the test too. So like, you won't. If it's like an ANOVA, it's like if they're all going to be equal. But if it's you'd use a null hypothesis one for like the weight, advertised weight versus actual weight, like we were saying. And for this one, you just use like either the 2 sample or the 3 or more sample test. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I know they've got Pink Lady apples around here. Granny Smith apples around here.
I'll buy the Fuji.
Like we could, if we did that, we could all buy type of apple and just count all the seeds. So it's just
Now is that 30 apples each then? Like we each.
Oh, we don't. If it's an ANOVA, we don't need that many. I think, right?
Or is it 10 apples? Well, I thought because the count is large. Each one has to be separately its own
study. What's the rule though to I think there is a special rule for ANOVA. So like if the small is like, as long as it's not 4 times, the small is not 4 times, or the large is not 4 times as many other, I think it's roughly normal.
Yeah, to call the variances equal, but that's not the sample size.
But that's how you prove normality, right?
No, that's how you prove or disprove whether the variances or the are equal or not.
Yeah, that's just one of the requirements.
Okay, well let me start it because the apple idea sounds interesting. Does everybody have the paper open?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just thinking the apple study sounds interesting. Let's kind of work our way down a little bit at a time in order of the paper and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I think the apple one will probably be the best bet because if nothing else, it'll be cheaper than the than chips.
Certainly.
'Cause
And healthier.
you can buy. Well, it depends how big your apples are, but you can buy a fair amount of apples for $5 versus $5 you might get maybe 5 bags of chips if you get like dollar store stuff.
Yeah, if you get the cheap stuff. Okay, so step 1, the main writer for designing the study.
Isn't that everyone?
It sounds like we're supposed to split it up when I'm reading the directions.
Oh,
The main writer will be the one to collect everyone's ideas and suggestions. They're responsible to send out the document for feedback and apply the feedback to the document before submitting it. The writer can assign out different parts of the writing as well. For example, if you're in charge of describe the data, you can ask one of your other group members to create and label a chart, blah, blah, blah. I don't mind being the main writer for step
For
1.
designing.
Is that all right?
yeah, I guess that's fine.
Sound good.
Wait,
Sounds
one?
Yeah, and then obviously we all, somehow at step 2, everyone writes up and submits their collect the data document. So we each have to do that one separately.
I think just this is skipping ahead a little bit, but because there are for step 6, I think we should all just never mind, we'll just wait till we get there. All right.
Okay, so
Describe the
who
data.
wants to be
You
the
wanna
main
go?
writer to describe the data?
I forgot. Oh, wait, hold on. If you're in charge of describe data, you could ask one of your group members to create and label charts and send them to you to be graphed into the main documents. So,
It's like our histogram or our bar chart or our pie graph.
that should be pretty easy for anyone, but does anyone have a particular talent in making charts and colors and stuff? Otherwise, I could do it, but unless someone's like really likes their PowerPoint and can make like a really nice chart.
I say you do it.
Describe the data.
Yeah, because just if someone knew how to, their visual stuff is anyway, whatever. All right, I'll do that.
Okay, and who wants to make inferences? In writer for make inferences.
I'd like to do that.
I'm just writing it all into this document that I've got open right here. I can put it on a Google Doc so we can make it, everybody.
Actually, I would be fine with either step 4 or 5. Which one would you rather have, Anetic?
Let's see. I do number 5.
Okay.
Okay. Be number 4.
No.
So that's going to be interesting. So what does the number of apple seeds actually mean? What are we going to do about it?
Oh.
Well, hold on. Someone needs to take PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, we could either. I think we should all. I was gonna say we should all do it just to make it fair, but if you've ever done a PowerPoint presentation, even if you have a lot of people on, it's usually only 2 people who do it. But really.
The way I did it in a business class last semester was basically we came up with an outline and then decided which slides we were each going to do, and then we had one meeting to finalize everything.
I think we should try to do it with everyone because technically, well, it would be easier with fewer people though because
More consistency.
yeah, because that's the only problem with having like a number of people working on the same PowerPoint. One person wants to do this font and this box is this way. Then the very next slide, it's like, one guy likes his pictures, so he uses like 30 pictures to describe his one idea, and the one person doesn't want to use pictures and just uses like a paragraph, which I believe PowerPoint should be a PowerPoint, not a paragraph on the slide. That's just me.
maybe
Just
we're
out
all
of
input, but Edward, it sounds like you have an opinion. So maybe
no, I'm just
final.
trying. I just don't want to be the only one working on it because I don't really do well. Well, at least I don't think I do well with PowerPoints. But what I have will be one of the most important things in the PowerPoint, which is the data and charts and graphs.
That's the visual part of everything. Yep.
hmm But I definitely need some help with that because, you know.
I guess I'm just saying we all have to contribute, but maybe you get the final decision.
Yeah, I guess it'll be. I guess that should be it. I guess. Oof. Okay, we'll go back to that. We'll see.
Okay, so for right now, it's all.
Yeah, right now it's all of us, and I think maybe later we can decide on who will be the actual person in charge of it. But
Okay, so number 1, state your research question. Make it in plain English. Something like, we're trying to determine if the average fruit fly prefers a rotting orange or an edible orange.
oh, did you say you were making this on a PowerPoint? Not a PowerPoint, a Google Docs.
I was going to put it on Google Docs when we're done here.
Oh,
that I'm typing in.
okay. Because I was wondering if you were just going to type it up and we can all just use what you have and just submit that.
And
rather than all.
Okay. Everybody, I don't have the document that there's a couple things that I should have put onto my laptop that I didn't before I left. So if everybody can text me their emails, I'll just email you a copy of what I'm typing up today. Is that cool?
Yeah, because
So I'll have to ask you to text me your emails again because I've got it saved on Excel on my home computer and I'm not there.
that's all right.
All right. So we are trying to determine how many
What are we trying to determine? We're trying to determine just the average. No, not the average seeds. What?
which apple has more seeds?
Of apples has more or less seeds, or
If we're doing Innova,
Yes.
then the null is like all apples have
The
same number of seeds.
Okay, so we're trying to determine which species of apple if all 4 apple species have the same number of seeds.
Yeah, that's the null.
that'd be more of an ANOVA.
Okay, so
Then
we
we can always.
hold on, don't talk yet or I'll lose the word. We are trying to determine if all 4 apple, I can spell,
Species.
does that sound right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What populations are you studying? So now our 4 kinds of apples.
Fuji.
Okay. Fuji, and I'm going to put your name next to it, thinking Trent, you're.
Looks like I'm going to the farmer's market.
I'll get pink lady apples because I like eating them.
I guess I'll get a Gala or Gala, whatever it's called. I know they're sold everywhere.
Yeah. All right, and Edic, what kind of apples do you want to get?
What are the options? I don't know any names.
There's red delicious apples, there's golden delicious apples, there's Granny Smith apples.
Granny Smith are the green ones.
Pay that much for an apple. They're delicious.
Those are 3 brands that I found almost anywhere in the country that have not been picked.
Yeah. Green apples, yeah.
So golden delicious apples are kind of yellowish. They're good for baking and applesauce and stuff.
Okay, I'll do Green Smith apples.
Granny Smith apples. Those make a great pie. Or whatever. What is your experimental unit? In other words, what is the smallest entity from which you are collecting a single piece of data to be used for analysis?
What?
An apple? One apple is the smallest entity from which we are collecting data. All right. What is your response variable?
Better question.
Like-
What is a response variable?
That's what I was trying to remember.
Isn't it like the number of seeds?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right. So I just Googled it. It said it says the response variable is the particular quantity that we ask a question about in our study.
I'm sorry. Repeat
So-
that one more time.
Variable would be number of seeds because it is the particular quantity that we ask a question about in our study.
So
So
the
we're
response
asking about
variable
seeds.
is the number of apple seeds. Okay.
It is quantitative.
It's not categorical because we're doing different kinds of apples.
I would believe. Oh, I would believe it's
Hmm.
quantitative just because. Hmm.
It is the number of apple seeds. That is numerical.
Yeah, numerical. So
Yeah.
because if you would pretty much the rule of thumb is if you plus or minus one, does it change the meaning?
Hey.
Well, not the meaning, but like,
Which one?
well, you know, but if it's significant.
Just you can go over to the house. Yeah. I think it would be quantitative.
No. Okay, it's not even after lunch. You come again and it will be tomorrow. Out. You know that I'm in the middle of class. It's hard being 8. Okay,
Your mom.
which statistical method? Yeah, it's my favorite thing. Which statistical method are you going to, actually it is sometimes, which statistical method are you going to use for your study? It should be one of the following 8 methods. I believe we've chosen ANOVA.
Yeah. And like I said, if we sleep on it, it's like 2 minutes to change it to a 2-sample test. So, but as of right now, ANOVA's really what we're looking at.
I think so, yes.
I think it would be this. I think ANOVA would be the safest because we do live in different. I don't know. I guess
State.
if we're even if we were to choose 2 different types of apples, we'd probably get apples from a different source.
There's Michigan
So that would throw
apple,
off
Washington apples, heck, apples from
North
South America.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think 4 different types.
Okay, so what are your null and alternative hypotheses? So H sub O colon, I don't have the right thing on here. I'll have to do this again. Mu sub 1 equals mu sub 2, right? No,
No,
Equals-
ANOVA is
No,
all
all are the
Word.
same.
all the means are equal.
All the means are equal, that's right. And then H sub A colon, one or more of the sample means
All the means differ than the others.
differ.
All right.
All right.
Oh. That is something.
Are you looking at 8?
Yeah, because like, what are we doing? Technically, aren't we? We might be doing a random sample, but like, well,
It's a simple random sample, I think.
yeah, because we go up. Yeah, because we won't be like.
We're not going to the same
simplest-
grocery store. It's
The
in
simplest would be a simple random sample. We'd go to a place, a single place, and grab a bunch of apples without looking at the size or even taking into account whether it became from a organic source or. Hey, heck, we can do that. If organic apples are different than. Okay, I'm kidding. Well, let's not focus on that. But yeah, I'd say for now let's use simple random sample. But I guess if we wanted to, we could change. If we wanted to like make it a bit more specific, but I don't see any reason to.
Well, I don't think it's a cluster because we're not testing all the apples in certain clumps. Just
Well, like, could you do
we're
a
not
cluster
doing it
sample with
systematically.
Anova?
What's that?
Could you even do a cluster sample with Ananova?
I think we could if we tested all the apples in a certain location.
Yeah, because it's like, because not only that, we have different types. So
Yeah. I think it'd be simple random.
oh, it does say though, for some reason, that a true random sample can be difficult. I don't know how. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm thinking about this the wrong way, but wouldn't a cluster sample will your group use? Because
Yeah, it says haphazard data collection is not the same as random. This requires a lot of thought.
so I'm what was it? Systematic was, every 7th apple you grab or something. Or
Yeah, you start with a random number start with a random number and then you systematically draw after that.
yeah. But because I'm thinking more along the lines of there's cluster and what was the other one?
Stratify.
Stratified. Because thinking about one of those, because even though we're all going to be different places, we're going to be grabbing it from one particular source. Meaning, I might go to Aldi's, you might go to, Food Lion. I don't know, or
think
Smith's or whatever.
I think it's stratified because there are 4 different kinds of apples.
I think you're right.
Yeah, because the cluster didn't seem right, but I forgot what stratified was. Stratified was.
And stratified is just as a simple random sample within different populations.
Yeah, so it's like the population might be.
So the population here is apples in general.
Yeah, the types of apples we each are choosing is the stratification. And then we have to do our best to be, I guess we have to think about how do we randomly choose our, I don't know, 10 apples? 20 apples? What are we?
I think no more than 10. I think it's really up to you because I actually opened up the other ANOVA test and they don't have to be. You don't have to have all the same amount of apples. It'll be easier if you do, but as long as the lowest wasn't the highest wasn't 4 times the size of the lowest, I think.
One of the requirements is that the data is normally distributed, and we had to use QQ plots to find out
If it's normal.
Yeah, but I think if the number of seeds in an apple are close together to the other apples, I think that would make it.
Well,
Normal.
we'll have to do it. We'll have to do a QQ plot between each of our own samples. So I guess somewhere between 10 and 15 apples should give us enough dots that we'll get a normal distribution.
Okay. Because
So what if we go for 15 apples?
15 apples each.
Be about $10 a piece.
So if we try with 10 or 15 apples and we enter those results in the QQ plot, we'll find out if it's normal. If it's not, we're gonna have to buy 15 more
More
apples. Yeah, to have at least 30. So it can be normal.
Okay, so if we
We'll each
get
have
all
to
of our data,
of our own stuff.
because well,
All right, number 9. Describe in specific detail how the group will collect data using the sampling method stated in the question in step 8. Also, what sample sizes are you planning to obtain per population?
oh, that's what we just talked about.
So,
it will,
this section should have enough detail that a reasonably intelligent person that has never taken a statistics course could replicate your study.
Oh, well, I wasn't gonna. I think even with what we just said, that we're gonna go out. I guess you just use simple English. I guess we're gonna go out. Each of us will go out to buy a specific species type. I don't know what to actually call it of apple. And
Okay, each participant will go to 4 different purchase right now 15 apples from 4 categories. I don't remember what it was. Fuji Gala, Pink Lady, and Granny Smith. Okay. What else?
that should be it. If you want to add more detail, you can say, well, because we're using stratified, but you don't really need to say that. You just say we're going to go out, each buy our own. Oh, how many of we're going to buy each, right?
Yes, 15 apples from 4 categories: Fuji Gala, Pink Lady, Granny Smith.
Okay.
Period. Each
I think that
participant
should be
will
it.
go to 4 different grocery stores in 4 different states and purchase 15 randomly selected apples.
Yeah.
according to the Washington Apple Commission, the term is apple variety.
Okay.
So instead of categories, varieties.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Varieties.
According to Washington. Bestapples.com.
That's right. If you can get any apples from Eastern Washington, they're always awesome.
I got them from investigators all the time because I was out in the apple orchards for like 8 months.
All right. Please review the requirements in the text for your chosen method from step 6 and discuss why your study is in alignment with the requirements. Step 6 is we chose ANOVA.
Yeah, I think. What does that say?
Please review, it's number 10. Please review the requirements in the text for your chosen method from step 6, meaning ANOVA, and discuss why your study is in alignment with the requirements.
I'm gonna share my screen with the requirements.
Sure.
You can see before doing ANOVA. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Oh, so I guess we got a simple random sampling. So I guess we have to use simple random sampling. I guess
It'll
we can
still-
just call it
it'll
simple.
It'll still be stratified. Stratified uses simple random sampling, but it'll still be stratified because we have the 4 varieties.
Okay. I think that's good. Samples are independent, which that's true. They don't rely on each other. It's just the same variance, which I guess there's no real way to know that until we actually start doing it. But I'd assume so. Because if they're all going to be, if we all have the same amount of apples, and we assume, because you assume the null hypothesis true, that they all will be the same, like the same amount of seeds, even though we're pretty sure that it won't have the same amount of seeds. You go on believing that it will have the same amount of seeds. So just from what we have, we should have the same variance, because just the way we made the study, we're going to have the same amount of apples and the same amount of seeds.
Mm-hmm.
As for QQ plot, we didn't
We're
do
gonna have,
it, but we should have a big enough sample size to make it for it to QQ the work. So I would go and say we have it right. So okay. So I think we have it all correct then. We got everything. It's just the last 2 ones, this variance and QQ plots we don't actually know right now, but with the way we set it up, we can assume it's going to be normal.
And if it's not normal, we just go buy $10 more worth of apples.
Or we, yeah, that's true. And like I said, and if it becomes too much of a headache, we can always just switch over to the 2 sample tests.
well,
And
and
that one,
if we wanted to get a little bit more involved, we can each go to, say, 2 or 3 different grocery stores to get the same kind of apples. That helps make it a little more random.
5 apples from 5 different stores.
Yeah.
Oh, not 5 apples, 5 different stores. 5 apples from 3 different stores. So we'll have.
Yes.
Okay, we could do that. That will make it more random.
Okay, so each participant will go to All right, each participant will go to 3 different grocery stores and procure 5 randomly selected apples
All right.
in 4 different states and purchase 15 randomly selected apples from 4 varieties. There we go. Got a little bit more specific.
All right.
Will your project involve human subjects? Nope.
No.
No.
Will you be conducting a survey? No.
No.
So we don't have to answer steps. Skip to 19.
And 19 is just
We have to.
first we submit it and wait for the our teacher to approve of it.
Yep.
So
And
what's below? Oh, extra. Okay, Appendix
Probably.
B is the information on why you need to get approval, and A is for human subjects, and A is the same one. Why you need more information about making a survey. So those are both we don't need to look at.
Yeah.
because they
Don't
don't apply
have
to
to worry about it.
us. All right, so
that's a wrap, folks. So
All right. So I will email a copy of this to everyone, and then I just attach this and send it to her.
Yeah.
I don't know where
Do we
you.
want a chance to, or do we want to have? Do you guys want to have a chance to read what I'm putting together first?
Oh no, I think we'll trust you.
Under 10, I added. Under 10, I put down all of the requirements with dots, and then underneath it, all requirements will be met.
Okay. Well.
Okay, so please remember to text me your email addresses so I can send you what's already filled out, and I will send this to the teacher.
All right. I will. Okay. I'll email you, text you that as soon as I'm finished. I gotta go get ready for work.
Okay.
I guess my last question is, when do we need? Actually, I guess we'll just wait and find out. When do we need to start? Buying apples and whatever.
I think it needs to be approved by the teacher.
I think on the thing it said you had to wait for approval.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do anything until she approves the project. We'll have to see if we have to change it in any way.
I would wait either way because for 18 you could not begin until you had your
Approval.
human subject approved. 19 doesn't say that, but you don't have to wait. But
No, it says if you stray from the steps above, your project is no longer approved.
Yeah, so I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just wait for her to approve it because if for some reason she had some issues with the project and we have to change something, then I don't want to have to
We don't want to have to start over.
And if nothing else, it'll just push us back a week maybe. And I think she'll be pretty quick about getting back to this. So. It's just, I guess we have to, if you want to change anything about the project, we have to run it by her first.
Okay, I'm going to name the document Final Project Group 6. And then leave on the design the study, blah, blah, blah. All right, are we meeting next on Monday?
Yep, Monday.
3 o'clock Mountain Time or 4 o'clock Mountain Time?
Let's do 3 o'clock. I have to be in bed by 7.
Okay. 3 o'clock Mountain Time Monday.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm going to go. I'll see you guys later. I have to run.
Bye, guys.
That's when it works.
Yeah.
Bye.
Adios.
Mhm.